Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Mac Story.
You know something I know about you? You're in the perfect place. What do I mean by that? You're exactly where you're supposed to be, but not where you have to be. So today, as we share time together and I talk about chapter 3 from Blue Collar Leadership, leading from the front lines. Again, there's 30 chapters. So these first few chapters is just kind of connecting with the reader or connecting with you as if you're listening to this 30-part series. But each part is also a lesson and a nugget by itself. But what I want you to know is wherever you are, you don't have to be there. You're in the perfect place to start growing, to move to the next level and beyond. You got to be exactly where you are, but you don't have to stay there. So I want to share a quote with you from Christian Simpson. Christian says, "An educated person is not the one with the most knowledge. An educated person is the one who is willing to reflect, evaluate, and modify his most cherished beliefs when a new idea comes along." Those are pretty wise words from Christian. And that's what I want you to do as you go through this 30-part series. Regardless if you're on the front line, outstanding. If you're the CEO, outstanding. These principles apply to everyone. But again, the book's written for the entry-level frontline person to help them climb to the next level and beyond. But it applies to everyone. So I want to share a story that's actually here in the book. And I read it from some other book. I don't remember where I read it. And I remember checking when I read the book, there was no credit given to where the story comes from. So it's just one of those stories that gets passed along. So there's a story about a tourist who paused for a rest in a small town in the mountains. He went over to an old man sitting on a bench in front of the only store in town and inquired, "Friend, can you tell me something this town is noted for?" "Well," replied the old man, "I don't rightly know, except it's the starting point to the world. You can start here and go anywhere you want." So that little story is pretty powerful. The same is true for you and me. No matter where we are, we can start and go anywhere we want. Will it always be easy? No. Will it always be worth it? Every single time. And you don't even have to tell yourself you can do it. A lot of times with integrity, we can't tell ourselves we can actually do what it is we want to do. And I learned this from Les Brown. And what he says, to have integrity with yourself, sometimes you just simply, all you have to know is it possible? Is it possible that I could move from where I am to where I want to be? Is it possible? Every single time I'm telling you, you can answer yes. So there's a good quote that says, most people fail in the getting started. They talk themselves out of doing what they know they should do. Or they talk to people who don't have the same interest and tell them about their idea, and those people talk them out of doing it. So whatever you want to do, unless you know somebody who wants to do the same thing or has done the same thing that you want to do, don't even talk to people about it. Just get in gear, start growing and going. If you're liking this book, you like listening to my podcast, other people may not want to grow and develop themselves. If you do, just start doing it. Do it at home. Doing it while you're driving down the road. Listen to audiobooks. Listen to these podcasts. Start changing your mindset and then start doing what you're learning that you should be doing. That's the key. You have to take action. And see, in life, it's much easier to go from failure to success than it is to go from excuses to success. And the reason is, someone who's making excuses, they're not going anywhere to begin with. Someone who's failing, they're actually trying to go And when we fail, we don't fail unless we quit. As long as we keep going, failing is the wrong word. We're actually learning. We're learning what not to do, and we're learning what works and what doesn't work. So don't be afraid of failure. Failure means you're actually doing something. So again, you're in the perfect place to start, exactly where you're at. That's where we all should start, right where we are. There's no other option, right? That's why there is no other option to start growing from where you are to where you want to be. That's why I say the title of chapter 3 is You're in the Perfect Place. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And I like to tell folks, if you want to move up in the company or move forward with your life in general, but feel stuck wherever you are, I got some good news. You haven't run out of choices. You're simply not making the right choices. That's what stuck means. When someone feels stuck in life, they feel like they're out of choices. No, they're not out of choices. They've simply been making the wrong choices. All they have to do is start making the right choices. I know people, they pray every day. People who are people of faith, they pray every day for something. All they have to do is walk out the door and make the right choice, and they can make it come true. They don't need any divine intervention. All they need to do is make a right choice. People like that all over the world. Just make a right choice. You're in the perfect place to make it. Just make it and move forward. Why people are not making the right choices? Why do they do that? I have no idea. If you've been making the wrong choices, I don't know why you've been doing it. Only you can answer that question, and only you can change the choices that you've been making. So when you think of why you're stuck, don't make excuses. Excuses are like exits when you're traveling along the highway to success. Excuses don't take you where you want to go. They take you someplace you don't want to go. And what I like to say is an excuse is simply a choice not to do what you know you should do. So I want to give you something to think about, whether you're stuck or not. If you're not stuck, use what I'm about to tell you to help someone who is. If you know other people who are stuck, unstick them. And most of the time, people quit growing and going when the price gets too high. That's when people get stuck. And see, the choice they need to make is to continue to grow, to invest in their growth and development. But the price gets too high. Many people are not willing to part ways with the toxic people in their lives or sacrifice their time and their money to continue moving forward to the next level. That's simply a choice to stop and pause right where you are. But growth usually requires a lot more time than money. So not having the money is just another excuse people make. Pretty much anything you want to learn, you can go learn it online, on the internet, for free. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to go to school to make good choices. You just have to make good choices. So most often, it's not even about our time, it's about our choices. You ever wonder why people don't do the things that seem to be common sense? Things like I've been talking about during this episode. Things like getting started or keep going. Seems like common sense to get started. If you're not where you want to be, get started. If you already started and you're still not where you want to be, keep going. That's pretty much common sense, right? In the next episode, I'm going to talk to you about common sense. This is something I talk about a lot from the stage whenever I'm out speaking, because everything I'm teaching you is all common sense, but it ain't common practice. So check back in a couple of days. I put these episodes, these podcasts, I publish them every 3 days. So you listen to one, next 2 days there won't be one, third day there'll be another one. So I want to leave you with a quote from my wife, Rhea. She says, if we refuse to become a leader because we don't believe we can get to the top, we are limiting ourselves from reaching our potential. We're limiting the impact we can have on others. I'm going to read it to you again. If we refuse to become a leader because we don't believe we can get to the top, we are limiting ourselves from reaching our potential. and we are limiting the impact we can have on others. The key is we don't have to get to the top. We just need to get to the next level and beyond. When you get to the top, you still ain't done, I promise you. If you get to the top and stop, you stuck. So, hope you enjoyed this episode. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mac Story's Blue Collar Leadership series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.